If you're a car maker, how do you stand out in a market full of electric vehicles? Well, if you're Hyundai, you design an electric SUV that looks like a spaceship. This is the brand new Ioniq 5 that's just been launched in Malaysia, and I'm going to tell you everything there is to know about this futuristic little thing. Let's go. The Ioniq 5 is priced starting at just under 200,000 ringgit for the base light model. The Plus, which has a higher spec but the same motor and battery pack, is priced at just under 230,000 ringgit. Whereas this, the full spec Max, with all the specs and all the equipment and all the power and range that you can imagine, is priced at just under 260,000 ringgit. These prices obviously include the government's exemptions for import tax, excise duty and road tax, as well as a 50% reduction in the sales and service tax, valid until June 30th. However, this car only gets a 2-year warranty. If you want a full 5-year or 100,000 kilometer warranty, that costs an extra 10,000 ringgit, although that also bundles in a 3-year free service package. All models come with an 8-year or 160,000 kilometer warranty for the battery. I said little in the beginning, and in isolation this car actually looks quite compact. That's because this car has been inspired by the Pony Coupe concept, which was launched back in 1974. That was a small car. This isn't. This is actually only slightly smaller than the BMW iX3. It measures 4.6 meters long, and in actual fact, the wheelbase is a huge 3 meters long. That is actually longer than the massive Hyundai Palisade. And what the look of this thing is, this car is basically the production version of the Hyundai 45 concept. You know, the one that came out in 2019. And all of the sharp creases and lines, they've all been faithfully reproduced in this production version. Look at this visor here with these twin square LED projectors over here. Now these are only on the Plus and the Max variants. The light has reflector headlights, not that you can tell obviously because they look very similar. However, on the lights you also got indicators down at the bottom by the bumper, whereas on these the indicators are shared with the daytime running lights. You've also got these illuminated lines in the front of the car which you don't get on the light version. Along the side you can see these massive wheels. These are 20 inches on the Max variant and 19 inches on the Light and the Plus models. Now those two have a sort of nice aero inspired look to them, but these are really cool. These have the sort of parametric pixel sort of design on them. You also can see on this Max variant and on the Plus variant you have this dark grey moldings on the wheel arches as well as the size of the car. That is black on the Light variant. As I mentioned earlier, there are lots of lines and creases everywhere, including on these wheel arches, which kind of look like an aperture on a camera lens, as well as on the door sides over here. And speaking about the doors, the handles are flush with the bodywork, and when you unlock the car, they pop out to let you open the door. Now, all Ioniq 5 models come with this cool charging port that is powered and it opens up like that. Now, this car is unique that it accepts up to 350 kilowatts of charging power, and that charges this car up from 10 to 80% in just 15 minutes. Now, of course, we don't have those sorts of chargers over here, so Hyundai has also provided charging times with a 50 kilowatt charger, and that takes an hour with the bigger battery pack and 47 minutes for the Light and Plus models. You can also charge this car at home using an 11 kilowatt AC wall box charger, and that takes around 6 hours. We have no figures for a domestic 3-pin charger, but you can expect that to take more than a day, so don't bother. Unique to the Max model is a solar panel on the roof, and that allows it to charge the car very slowly. Hyundai says it will add an additional 2,000 kilometers of range every year, depending on the weather conditions. At the back here you can see that the square motif has been repeated on the taillights, which stretch all the way across the rear of the car, although only the Plus and Max models have this sort of illuminated bar running across, as well as indicators built into the taillights themselves. Other things of note is this fast windscreen rake and the fact that this doesn't have a rear windscreen wiper whatsoever from the looks of it. Still, I think this is a very good looking car. In here, the Ioniq 5 looks like nothing else on the road today. Sure, this widescreen display panel here with its twin 12.3-inch displays looks a bit Mercedes-Benz, but that's where the similarities end. The dashboard is a very minimalist design and there are lots of storage spaces everywhere you look. Also, build quality is very good. You've got lots of soft touch plastics over here, as well as this handrest they have over here, this door panel, as well as some fabric touches over here. It really feels like a step above even its premium rivals. The infotainment system is typical Hyundai. You've got a smartphone-like interface over here, and you've also got lots of customizable themes over here. It changes depending on the drive mode you select. There are also some physical shortcut buttons for the infotainment system, a physical volume knob, and there are actual separate climate control buttons over here, although these are actually touch sensitive buttons, so they're not actually all that great to use. On this car, you also have a panel over here which is covered in fabric. Now this is supposed to be a magnetic panel that you can use to stick notes and so on using a fridge magnet. Although obviously the magnet isn't very strong, I can't even put my iPhone here. One thing to note is that the Lite and Plus models come with 6 speakers, whereas the Max comes with an 8-speaker Bose sound system. The speakers on the Plus and Max models also light up and change colors together with the ambient lighting system. Then there is the comfort aspect of this car. All models get a power adjustable driver's seat, and on the Plus and Max models, both front seats are power adjustable. One party trick on this car is on the Max model, there is a powered ottoman over here, and it also comes with something called a premium relaxation seat. Now this means that when I press the button over here, like so, I can simply recline the seats just like that. Oh, that is so comfortable. This is so cool. Obviously this is only for use when you're parked up and you're charging the car, but how cool is this? Another cool feature is this center console box over here. You've got an armrest with some storage space over here, and just look at that, it's very nicely damped. It feels very premium. Over here you've got twin cup holders, you've got some space over here for a bag or a pair of shoes, and you've even got a wireless charger hiding underneath here. Now what's not so great is that while this car does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, unlike the cheaper Kona Electric, this car does not come with wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, making this wireless charger practically useless. What is good is that on the Plus and Max models, the center console moves forwards and backwards, which means that if you have an app parking right next to you, you can simply slide over to move and get out on the passenger side. And there's so much space over here, even a child can stand here. Don't do that. Please don't be an idiot. Use a child seat, please. Last but not least, you think your damped glove box is cool? Look at this. There's a drawer right inside your car. This is very IKEA. And look at that. Because of this car's long wheelbase, there is plenty of legroom over here in the back. As you can see, there is lots of room for my knees, even with this seat pushed quite far back. This is easily as comfortable as something like a BMW 5 Series. You can slide your feet a little bit underneath the front seats, but there's not a lot of room in there because the battery pack sits right under the floor. On the Max model, you can also slide the rear seats forwards and backwards electrically. You can't do that in the BMW 3 Series. And one more party trick, you can also recline these seats really far back. And look at that, you can literally recline in the back of this car. You can also adjust the passenger seat using these side switches over here, and you can even adjust the rear seats using these switches as well. I don't know why you'd want to, but you can. Other things of note, you've got twin USB charging ports down there, you've got a slot to put your phone in, you've got twin air vents on the pillars, you've got an armrest with twin cup holders over here, and you've even got heated rear seats on this Max model, and the front seats are heated and ventilated as well. And just like a 5 Series, you can slide this sun blind up to keep the sun out. That is very nice. One unique feature about this Ioniq 5 is that it comes with a vehicle to load function, which means that you can charge anything you want using this 3-pin socket under the seat on this Max model. That means you can simply pick up your laptop, plug it up and charge it, and you can work while your car is being charged, like so. There's also a 3-pin extension that you can plug up into the exterior charging port, and that means you can plug up things like a fridge, a TV. You can even revive a dead electric vehicle. This is standard on all vehicles. Obviously, the Ioniq 5 comes with a hands-free powered tailgate. Once you open it, you have 527 litres of boot space. Now, the boot floor is quite flush with the sill over here, and that means it's easier to take stuff out from the boot. However, the sill itself is quite high, which means putting stuff into the boot is a little bit more difficult. You've also got space under here for some cables and other paraphernalia, and you've also got a sliding tonneau cover over here, which is a little bit difficult to operate. Otherwise, this is quite a practical family car. Now, you might imagine that this is where the engine sits, and in fact, this cover does look like an engine cover. However, there is some space here to put some odds and ends. Now, the Light and Plus models have 57 litres of space. However, the Max only has 24 litres of space, and that's because there is a motor underneath. But there's still enough space to put your charging cable in here so that it doesn't crowd out your boot. The Ioniq 5 comes in 2 powertrain and battery options. The Light and Plus models get a single rear electric motor producing 170 PS and 350 Nm of torque. And it will get these cars from 0 to 100 km an hour in 8.4 seconds. The Max here is all-wheel drive, and that has a 95 PS electric motor at the front and 211 PS at the rear. Together they make 306 PS and a whopping 605 Nm of torque. This car will get from 0 to 100 km an hour in just 5.2 seconds. Top speed on all these cars is limited to 185 km an hour. There are also differences in the battery pack. The Light and Plus models get a 58 kWh battery, and that gives it a range of 385 km on a single charge on the WLTP cycle. The Max has a bigger 72.6 kWh battery, and that gives it a range of between 430 and 460 km on a single charge. Safety is where the Ioniq 5 comes up top. All models get the full Hyundai Safety Sense active safety features, including autonomous emergency braking, adaptive cruise control with stop and go, lane centering assist, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, both of these with collision avoidance, and automatic high beam. The only differences between the Max and Plus from the Light model is that the higher spec models come with a blind spot camera on both sides, which is similar to Honda's lane watch system, as well as an active safe exit assist that will lock the doors if it senses that a car is approaching. So there you have it, the brand new Hyundai Ioniq 5. For around the same price as a top spec Kona electric, you get much more in terms of roominess as well as specs with just a little bit lower range. And this top of the range Max model offers a lot more range and a lot more specs than the BMW iX3 while being significantly less expensive. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments section. Until next time, thank you so much for watching and stay safe.